In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make a procedural asphalt material. The keys I'm using are in the bottom right corner of the viewport. I start by deleting the cube and adding a plane. I also open the shader editor and add a new material to the plane. Add a Voronoi texture and connect it to the principled shader. This will be the base of the actual texture. For the distance, I change it to distance to edge and reconnect the node to the principled shader. This will give me a gradient within each cell from black to white. I also changed the scale to increase the number of cells. I'll now add a noise texture and mix it together with an RGB node. Since I only want a black and white texture, I add a color ramp between the noise texture and the mix RGB node. I also changed the scale and the detail of the noise texture. To add some bumpiness to the asphalt, I add a bump map. I then connect the mix RGB to the height of the bump map. And connect the bump map to the principled shader. In order to roughen up the straight edges of the cells, I'll duplicate the noise texture and connect it to the Voronoi texture. I duplicate the mix RGB node and place it between the second noise texture of the Voronoi texture making sure to connect the noise texture to the bottom color slot. I now add a UV map node and connect it to the top color slot of the mix RGB node. Now if I change the factor of the second mix RGB node, I can change the look of the edges of the cells, making them less straight. I can also change the scale and detail of the noise texture. In order to give the material some coloration, I add a color ramp between the first mix RGB node and the principled shader. Add a third color stop in the middle and give it a mid-gray color with a slight blue tint. I then move the color stops until I achieve a look that I like. If I want to make some of the cells flat on top, I can add a color ramp between the first Mix RGB node and the bump node. I duplicate the first color ramp and move it into place. As I move the white color stop, I can see the tops of the cells becoming flatter. If I then move the black color stop, I can raise the cell edges up, making the cells appear smaller. To add some bumpiness to the now flattened areas, I duplicate the Mix RGB node and place it between the third color ramp and the bump node. I then duplicate the second noise texture and connect it to the new Mix RGB node. I then change the scale and detail the noise texture and the factor of the Mix RGB node. If you have a request for a tutorial, a question, or a comment, feel free to leave a comment below the video. If you're interested in learning more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.